All right, so we're here at Low Web. Who are you?
Frederic Lardinois. I'm a blogger with Techcrunch.
So when do you decide what to write? How does that work?
How does that work? I see something interesting and I start typing for the most part. A lot of it is news. News just happens. You just write it. And when it comes to startups, I've got specific areas I'm interested in, and for the most part, that's developer-focused. Startups, I interviewed Parse today. Parse would be an example for that, or AWS stories, things like that.
Do you also blog about Apple and Android and stuff like that?
I don't, for the most part.
No?
We've got gadget people for that write about those things. Me, for the most part, I focus on software startups, web startups.
So, how long time have you been coming to Low Web?
This is my 5th year.
Is it
Straight.
important or what?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't come back if it wasn't important. It's to me, it's one of the most interesting conferences out there. Really, one of the most fun conferences
Why?
to come to. The people, just really interesting people to meet. Even people I often meet in Silicon Valley, they're easier to get a hold of here than they are in Silicon Valley.
You live there?
No, I don't. I live in Portland, Oregon.
Oh yeah.
But I'm in the Valley about once a month. But
Where are you from?
Germany.
Germany. All right. What's the next story? You were on stage just before.
I was on stage just
Who were you
earlier
interviewing?
today. I interviewed Ilya, the CEO of Parse. Parse got acquired by Facebook earlier this year in April.
It's interesting, though. It's like Facebook buying a company for a whole bunch of $1 million. And
85 million. I think it was more than 85 million, but the last number I heard was 85 million.
And because they do something cool, something
they do
important.
something cool. They do something important that Facebook doesn't do. They do a platform for building mobile applications, a backend for mobile applications, databases, analytics, stuff that developers need. But developers don't want to build. Developers don't want to be system administrators. They don't want to be dealing with the servers in the background. So they deal with the servers for you, and you just build your applications on top of them. A little bit like Amazon does with AWS, for example.
Do you think Facebook needs to acquire a whole bunch of more stuff to be better?
Depends on what Facebook wants to be. If it wants to be relevant to developers, yeah, they probably do need to acquire more companies. If it's for users, I think what they need is maybe acquire a payments company or something like that, something that's a little bit outside of the social feed, just to get... I've got a feeling people are getting bored of that, so I think they do need to build more services around it.
Why do they compete with Google? Why don't they just work with Google more?
Facebook?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen? Why? Is that like mentality in the Silicon Valley?
No, well,
where people
not
don't want to compete because they're too big?
No, they do.
They don't want to collaborate because they're too big?
No, there's big companies that collaborate. Bing, Microsoft and Facebook, for example, they happily collaborate on those fronts, but they don't compete either in the same area. It's about control of user data at the end of the day, I think. Google wants it with Google+, and wants to have your identity there. Facebook wants your identity on Facebook. They don't want... Everybody wants to own their own little fiefdom, really. Not going to happen.
What's the next story? You're going to write something right now?
I am not going to write something right now. I'm going for dinner now.
Okay, cool.